When people ask me what I'm doing with this whole content creation, personal branding thing, is I'm seizing the current opportunity in the world that we live in with, chat GPT, artificial intelligence, personal branding. I'm seeing that there's an online world. There's a huge opportunity right now to take advantage of. Who knows, where this opportunity will go, if it will be here in the next 20, 40, 60 years. So, you got to recognize the opportunities that are currently present in front of you and take advantage of them. And you know what? Maybe I make it, maybe I don't. Either way, I'm good because I'm doing what I love to do. And maybe I inspire one person to start creating content and then they make it and they change their whole trajectory, right? So my thing is recognizing the current times you're living in and being an opportunist and taking advantage of the opportunities that lay in front of you, right? The online world, things shifting online, the opportunity to, be global, the opportunity to create content and be anywhere. You got to see what's in front of you and take advantage, especially the people that are just, not happy with their life and complaining and want to change. This could be it, right? You never know. What do you have to lose? If you try it, if you go for it and you don't fail, you go for it and you don't succeed, then, maybe you gained a skill from that. Maybe you learn something. Maybe you make new networks and new friends. But if you sit at home every night after work and, decide to just turn on Netflix and, just drown your brain out and just say, this is the life and it is what it is, then you'll never know if you could have been somewhere else. So you really have to recognize that, there's a lot of opportunity in the world right now, especially in the online world. And a lot of people, they look at it and they're like, yeah, I see other people doing it. And then they give all these excuses as to why they're not able to do it, right? And that comes down to maybe you're lazy, maybe you don't want to put the work in. Then don't complain, right? Don't complain when your life stays the same and you see somebody who completely changed their life from using, online technology. Look at the world we're living in right now. You gotta be aware, have self-awareness, number one, and also be aware of what is going around you. What are current trends happening? Look at the majority of people. Do a sociological experiment, because I went to school and I studied sociology, so I think my thinking comes from that frame of mind. That's how my thinking has been shaped. Go into a social setting, like let's say, you get a group of 15, 20 friends together and count or time the amount of times people have their phone in their hand. And I bet you that more than 50% of the time that you're at this function or social event, people have their phone in their hand. And that's simply because our generation, right? That's the generation we're living in currently, where people are essentially addicted to their phones, right? People cannot go without their phones. Look at someone who leaves their house, leaves their phone at home, and then realizes they left their phone. It's like they don't know how to function anymore. So it's perfect opportunity for you to take advantage of. It's perfect time for you to recognize that people are addicted to their phones. People live their life through their phones. So ask yourself the question, what can I do? What can I create? What are some things that I love that I can produce to put online to, sell to people, that I can put online for people to purchase? Because this is the generation we're living in. This is the times we're living in. And for some people, it's hard for them to accept that. And they look at it from such a negative point of view or a negative standpoint. But if you change that perspective, like imagine your grandparents, they didn't have this opportunity. They didn't have the opportunity to create some content, shoot a YouTube video, sell stuff online like we do, right? So they were more limited. Yeah, maybe their housing cost was a bit cheaper, but at the end of the day, a lot of them worked at companies for 30, 40, 50 years and then retired. Where, our generation, I'm 36. Our generation has the ability to maybe work at a company for 5 years and then start their own little thing, whether it's like a consulting thing or they start a coaching business or whatever. They like to dance, so they start dancing online and selling dancing workshops. They got addicted to fitness or yoga, and then they start teaching fitness online or yoga online. So our grandparents did not have this opportunity. Do not take what you have for granted and be aware of what you have. I think sometimes we're not aware of the things that we have in front of us till it's too late. Right? You don't want to be a grandparent, 60, 65, looking back and be like, you know what? During my time, I had the opportunity to create content on this subject matter or this thing that I was obsessed with, but I never did. Because of what? Fear? Because of what? Judgment? Because of what? You got to ask yourself that question. What's stopping you from taking advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you? It's you. It's not anyone else, because we're in a free world. We're in a free country. You can say what you want to say. Mind you, you may get banned or you may get deleted or whatever they say, cancel culture, whatever that means to some people. It's freedom of speech. You can say what you want. You can create what you want, as long as you're not, offending people or putting people down in those ways, then you're almost able to create whatever you really want. So it's just like, what are you really doing? Especially if you're someone that's watching this and you're like, you're unhappy. You're unhappy with your current circumstance. You've been out of job or doing the same thing for 10, 15 years. And you're just like, this is not me. I know it's not me. I know there's more for me. Then step into that. I know programming conditioning is a strong thing, right? Programming conditioning is a very strong thing. And a lot of people, we're all conditioned. We're all programmed. We're all wired a certain way. But it takes the rewiring of your brain first to, take a step in a different direction. That's the first step, is to rewire your brain. And you could do that by watching this video. You could do that by, there's a whole bunch of content creators that speak about rewiring your brain, thought patterns, habits, stuff like that. Or mentors, right? Mentors are a big one as well too. Because if you see someone I'll say this, I was speaking to a friend yesterday. We went for coffee. And they were saying that they wanted to be, some fashion influencer online. This has been their passion from when they were young. And, they've been talking about it for as long as I've known them, but they've taken no action towards, making this a reality. And my suggestion was, number one, go to the individual that you've been following for the past 5 years that is doing what you want to do, and learn from that individual. Learn how they think, learn how they created what they created, learn how they set up their store, learn how they got started, learn their backstory, learn their mindset, learn their discipline, just learn what books they read, learn their daily habits. And I'm not saying you can get to the exact same level as them, but you can definitely get something going for yourself. But I think a lot of times, we think of all the things we have to do and we become discouraged, and then we fall back into our programming, our conditioning, right? So for a lot of people, they just end up doing the same thing for 30 years, 40 years. And that's fine too, because if you're providing for your family, you're living a good life, who cares? And if that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead. But if for the individual that is feeling like there's more for you, feeling like you're not, really living up to your potential, feel like you're not at the level that you feel you should be at, then I encourage you to step towards that direction. Reprogram your mind and reprogram your brain. It's going to take some time. And, grab mentors in the line of work that interests you. Establishing yourself in that industry, that field. Don't be afraid. What's the worst that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is you go into it and you figure out it's not for you, or you go into it and you fail. Guess what? All you got to do is pivot. That's all you got to do is pivot. All right. So I hope you guys are really taking in this content, learning and growing and developing yourself. That's why I do it. And I'm just walking into what I've been put on this earth to do, and I'm enjoying it. So subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and most importantly, comment. Marcel, Hyde, Mindset. Peace and love for now.